Welcome to Userbot's flow tutorial. My name is Alexandra and today we are going to see how to build the perfect flow. But before we get started, here are 3 things you definitely need to keep in mind. Remember, your chatbot represents your brand, so you have to keep in mind who you are talking to. This is not a good example of an answer if your business needs to keep a formal tone. If instead you are an e-commerce that sells party items, what to not use a GIF? Have you noticed that we tend to respond to emails thinking too much, carefully choosing what type of words we should use? Would you send the same message via Messenger? Keep it short. A chatbot is a messaging platform and nobody wants to read endless monotonous information. Otherwise, they would have checked your frequently asked questions, which, by the way, nobody reads. Humans are wrong. Don't be harsh with your chatbot. Don't expect your flaws and trainings to cover every single question user may ask you. Give failure due importance and prepare a proper reaction from your bot that can make your customer smile. Now that we have given ourselves a few small rules, let's jump into it.
Let's take the bot of a travel agency as example. As you can see, there are several flaws beside the welcome flow. This is because we have strategically decided to divide the blocks into types of requests that were often sent by email or the Facebook channel. In this case, we have blocks dedicated to assistance, to different products and contacts in general. Entering the welcome flow, we have set an initial message and 3 options to facilitate the conversation between the user and the chatbot. Each button leads to a different action. The first proceeds with the flow, giving other options to the customer. The request for assistance starts a specific flow, and the last one responds with a simple message, letting the user navigate on the website. What if the bot is installed on Facebook? Nothing could be simpler. Just duplicate the bot with its flaws and interaction and modify items not strictly related to the website, so the conversation is customized according to the platform. Each bot has a different code, so you can install different ones on different platforms. Going back to the flaws, let's take for example the request for assistance. You can see that the tree starts to be more complex. It's essential to consider the different variables and provide adequate and specific answers instead of just write as an email. As we talk about the travel agency, there are 3 types of repetitive questions that are often asked: the booking, lost and found items, and of course COVID-19 rules. The first 2 interactions often require the intervention of an agent, as the customer cannot change the booking independently, and there is no real lost and found database. The chatbot can therefore help to qualify the person in such a way as to have all the necessary information and decrease the time needed to the agent to give support. This is done by guiding the user to a form inside the chatbot, where he will be asked the question necessary for the qualification. Each question is saved with a variable that can be entered on the spot. For example, the email is saved as user email variable. This can also be used in the construction of the flow, with the if condition with different options similar to those of an Excel sheet: contains, greater than, equal, and so on. If we want to combine 2 variables, for example, if X and Y the message, we just need to concatenate the 2 conditions. Or we can use them to personalize the conversation, perhaps calling the person by name. Once the form is completed, the chatbot will send a call for a human agent. If customer support is not meant to be 24/7, it is possible to set office hours in the bot settings, so that it can respond with a dedicated message and the information can be entered into a CRM or sent via email. Of course, flaws aren't limited to just text or forms. We can add GIFs or images to make the conversation lighter and more engaging. We can do this by entering the URL of the GIF in the text area. Let's try to test our bot and see how the interaction just shown happens. As you can see, once the message is scaled to the agent, it is possible to see the entire conversation history in the chat and intervene proactively.
Of course, this was just an example of what you can do with flaws, and we haven't touched on AI training yet. We could be here for hours, but there is no better way than experimenting. If you need assistance, you can write us at onboarding@userbot.ai or stay tuned for the next tutorial.